34 crores, 3,634 crores worth of Angel One has been traded. BSE, on which there was a sell call today, is down 3.5%, 45.88, but it has also recovered from its intraday low. And it's the AMC pack that is doing phenomenally well. Look at a record high on HDFC AMC, up 6.5% at about 45.83. You have a very strong move coming in on Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, up 12%, and UTI AMC up 6%. I'm just waiting for Sakshi to join us, and then we will also look at the other parts of the market. Apart from the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, which are trading flat, the Bank Nifty, which has its weekly expiry, is down 45 points. In the broader market, there is nothing much to talk about. It's a mild carpet of red across the board. We track 90s indices for you. Out of 19, only 4 are in the green, nothing much to talk about. The advanced decline ratio is negative. 1165 shares are in the green compared with 1202 that are in the red. I believe Sakshi is with us. Good afternoon, Sakshi. A very warm welcome on market today.
Good afternoon, Shell. Yes, it's panned out to be quite a day, but good that we have come off the day's low point for sure, and we are back above 25,000 mark. So that's a bit of a relief in the markets for sure. Oil and gas space has definitely picked up some more, pace at this point in time. Realty, infra, financial services, and metals. These are the only pockets that are actually showing us some thick action. HDFC Life has continued to be at its top spot on the Nifty right after stellar set of numbers, and of course upgrading of the guidance that has really improved the sentiment on the stock, which has also pulled up the other stocks within the insurance basket. So SBI Life, ICICI Pru Life, they're both also up into the trade. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories has also pulled up now 1.5% higher. You have Grasim, and most importantly Reliance Industries has recovered from the lows as well. Today it's up by 1.2%. back at 27.20. So you are seeing some heavyweight counters now supporting the sentiments, which has also improved the market breadth as a whole too. Within the F&O space, you have HDFC Asset Management Company that we've been tracking right from morning. Cummins India, Voltas, these are the stocks within the F&O space that have garnered some more traction. And of course, we do have now our guest on the show, Nilesh Jain, Head and Vice President of Technicals and Derivatives Research at Centrum Broking, is now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Nilesh, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Tell us, does it give you enough confidence with the kind of market recovery that we are seeing unfold in front of us, that the breadth will improve going forward from here for the rest of the days now as we inch closer to the weekly expiry too?
Very good afternoon to you, Sakshi. Good afternoon, Sarisha, and everyone. So yes, there is no doubt about it, because the kind of recovery that we have seen so far, that is primarily been led by Reliance Industries. So that is certainly giving a good confidence. And also, if you look at the Nifty structure now from past 7-8 consecutive sessions, Nifty stuck in a very tight range. On the lower side, 24,900 is acting as a very strong support. At the same time, 25,200 is acting as a stiff resistance zone for the Nifty. So we need a decisive breakout from this particular range for further direction to lead from here. Another 200 to 300 point can be seen. But as of now, at current level, the risk and reward looks favorable for the long position. We might see a follow-up move towards 25,100 to 25,200. And on the other hand, if you look at the Bank Nifty as well, which is sustaining well above its 51,500 mark. So that is again a positive sign, and the kind of fall that we have seen in the volatility index in the weeks, which is trading below 13 levels. So that is also giving some amount of confidence. So overall, it's a kind of a stock-specific and sector-specific market. On index front, we expect some consolidation to continue, but bias remains on a positive side.
Namaste Nilesh, a very warm welcome to you. It's a blowout happening in all asset management companies. Which one is your favorite? Of course, HDFC AMC is doing pretty good, but after a long while, it's Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC that is clicking in the green, up 12%. What would be your view on ABSL AMC and your favorite in this space?
In fact, all AMC stocks are buzzing today, be it ABSL AMC, UTI AMC, or HDFC AMC. But out of these three, if I have to choose any one, then that would be HDFC AMC. Reason being, the stock has a very strong structure, and a gradual up move is something that we have seen so far. But today, the stock has given a good breakout with a good volume participation as well. 12% fresh addition, so good build-up on the long side is also happening here. So we expect a further up move towards 5,000 to 5,100 on immediate basis. Stop loss can be placed somewhere around 46.50. So if at all we see any dip towards 4,800 to 47.50, that can be a good entry point. But after a spurt of 6.5% is not advisable to chase neither other two stocks, ABSL, AMC, or maybe UTIMC. In fact, all these stocks have witnessed a good spurt. So better to wait for some meaningful dip to initiate a fresh launch.
Okay. That's right. And how about the broking space in the same breath, Nilesh, if you can talk about, there are so many stocks that are actually rallying so sharply today. Geojit Financials is up by 9%, Nuvama Wealth is up 5%, we have MOFSL that's up another 4% in trade today, and several others that are joining the fray. How are you really looking at this entire broking space?
So, Sakshi, entire broking space is looking strong on the chart, and the kind of run up that we have seen in angel broking yesterday and today, we are
Yeah.
witnessing a follow up move. So, yes, this particular stock is still looking strong for 3,500 to 3,700 kind of target on the upside. And after a spurt for the second straight session, again, a similar approach should be adopted here to buy on decline, and stop loss can be placed somewhere around 3,150, and existing long can be hold for upside target of 3,450 to 3,500. Similarly, even if you look at the Nuvama Wealth, this particular stock, it is also looking strong for 7,500 kind of target on the upside. Stop loss can be placed somewhere around 7,000. So overall, broking space as a whole is looking strong on the chart.
Okay, got it. So
Okay.
that's the view that's coming in.
Sakshi,
Yes, sir.
Sakshi, I'll just point out one interesting thing. I'll request the PCI to again fire the chart of Aditya Birla AMC. It's, the IPO of Aditya Birla AMC came at 712 rupees. And at the moment, I'll tell you when the IPO came in. It was just a moment, please. Yes, the IPO came in October 2021. It barely managed to move up, and from then on, it went all the way down to 306. So the price that you see so far has barely scratched the surface. In terms of relative valuations, it would make much more sense to look at Aditya Birla AMC compared with the price discovery that has already happened in terms of whether it is NAM India, whether it is HDFC AMC in particular. So please keep an eye out on Aditya Birla AMC. This is one which might surprise you on the top side as far as margins are concerned. I'll get you some more data. Sakshi, what else are you watching?
Well, Shell, remember in the morning I had pointed out some of the stocks from the auto ancillaries basket. There's further traction in those spaces, and we are seeing precision camshafts now inch higher by over 18%. I pointed the stock, I think, around 270 odd levels. Right now it is at 303 odd levels. Now it's at the day's high. Huge volumes can be seen on precision camshaft, and along with this, several other stocks are also buzzing. Omax Autos is up by almost 10%, Munjal Auto is up by 7%, Ask Automotive is up 6% in trade. Igrashi Motors, I had pointed out in the morning, that's up 4% as well. These are all the stocks that are actually in the thickest of action right now. Let's get in Nilesh to help us understand what is behind this strong move within the auto ancillary pack, and how are you looking at some of these names that I just pointed out.
Well, Sakshi, this space is looking pretty strong. If you look at the overall structure of the names that you have just highlighted, Munjal Auto, Precam, in fact, all these stocks are looking positive. The kind of run-up that we have seen in the auto space earlier, although right now we are witnessing some profit taking in the auto space as a whole, but auto ancillary is something where we are witnessing a follow-up move. So ahead of festive season, we expect autos to remain in focus and we expect a positive move to continue. Munjal Auto is something that is looking attractive at current level, and on the upside 150, 155 kind of levels can be seen. 134 should be the stop loss for the long position in this particular stock. But overall, our approach is that if at all you see any dip in autos and auto ancillary, that should be bought into. And Bajaj Auto is ahead of the numbers, is looking positive as well. So watch out for two-wheeler auto space as well. Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, TVS Motor. These are the three specific stocks that we are liking within two-wheeler space as well.
$243, ladies and gentlemen. While the broader markets continue to show a sign of red, let's look at the exact opposite. Which are the stocks in this kind of a market where you see a lot of positivity both in terms of price and in terms of volume? We've already marked the entire space as far as the brokers and the asset management companies are concerned, but a blowout happening on Railtel. This was an earlier order which kick-started this very sharp rally. 441 rupees, up 8.2%, and 13 times the 5-day average has been traded. Remember, this is one of those earlier high beta items which sort of went out of circulation. Nilesh, what are the charts of Railtel telling you?
See, the stock has already given a good spurt after a recent fall from the levels of 600. The stock corrected to the levels of 400. So we have already witnessed a decent correction in this particular stock. Now, after taking a support at its 200-day exponential moving average, that has acted as a very strong support in the past. So right now, it is looking positive for a pullback to continue for the levels of 470 to 500, and can be added on declines, keeping a stop loss below 410. So structure looks positive for a follow-up move to continue.
Okay, right. Let's also focus on some of the other pockets then. The real estate story, Nilesh, for you. How are you looking at the momentum getting generated right now? Today it's Mahindra Life Spaces. Godrej Properties, of course, has been the lowest bidder for some of the projects. I think 3 projects in the MMR region. It's been buzzing right from morning. And DLF, Phoenix Mills, Macrotech, there is a slow and steady buzz here that continues right now. Although, you know, when we talk about the rate cuts happening back home from the RBI, that deadline seems to be shifting even forward, with the inflation levels continuing to put pressure on the RBI to maintain, you know, it below the band that they are comfortable with. But despite that, how are you looking at the real estate story unfold?
So Sakshi, we have a positive outlook on real estate space as a whole, and our preferred bet within real estate continues to remain DLF. So that particular stock looks strong on the chart, and in fact, this is also there in my recommendation as well for the day. So DLF looks positive for 920, 930 kind of target from a short-term point of view. 860 is a very good support for this particular stock. And even if you look at the other stocks like Oberoi Realty, where we have already seen 6 consecutive days of gains, and we expect a follow-up move out there as well. But the risk and reward is not favorable, so better to wait for some dip that can be bought on declines, keeping a stop loss below 1920. On the upside, 2200 to 2300 levels are something that we might see from a short-term point of view. Godrej Properties, as of now, we have seen a good rebound after testing the lows of 2850 that has acted as a multi-month support zone for this particular stock. So we might see a follow-up move towards 3400 kind of levels on the upside. So that stocks also looks positive, can be added at current level, keeping a stop loss below 3120. So overall, yes, we are pretty positive on real estate stocks.
2:47, ladies and gentlemen. We have 13 plus 30, 43 minutes left to go. Let's look at some very important events that have happened on the technical part of market. I'll request PCR to fire two charts. One is Voltas and the other is Cummins. There is a very strong move coming into Voltas, 3.5% higher. Let's get our friend Nilesh to talk about it. The reason why I mentioned Voltas is that after 3 continuous weeks of fall, there is a kind of uptick above 21 EMA. Nilesh, what are the charts of Voltas telling you?
Chart looks very strong, but interesting development can also be seen on derivative front, where more than 8% OI addition can be seen today. So good long buildup is happening, good volume participation can be seen, which is higher than average volume, and the technical breakout is already there. So yes, structure looks strong on the daily time frame chart. It looks like stock is heading towards a new record high from here. So 2020 to 2050, these can be the targets from a short-term point of view. 1830 should be the stop loss for the long position. And within this space, if you see another stock that is a Blue Star, so that stock is also looking positive, although it is down today. But if you see a major structure on the weekly time frame, it has a kind of a replica of what we have seen in Voltas. So structure looks positive here as well. 2200 kind of levels can be seen from a short to medium term point of view in the Blue Star stock as well. One can keep a stop loss below 1870, and one can go long in this stock as well.
Okay. The other stock that needs attention on the same criteria is Cummins India. This is now the volume is about 2.36 times more, and the same setup. The third most active counter in terms of gains on the FNO space is Cummins India, 3810, and a lot of short covering also happening on the stock future side. Nilesh, your view on Cummins?
Setup here is also looking positive, and stock has crossed its 50-day moving average today, and we can expect a follow-up move towards 3900. So that's the October series target, and structure looks positive, can be added at current levels, keeping a stop loss somewhere around today's low, that is placed at 3680. So 3680 should be the stop loss. 3900 and 4000 can be the potential target as far as October series is concerned. The structure looks positive for Cummins as well. We have witnessed a good short covering move today.
Okay. Got that. So that's as far as Cummins India is concerned. Let me draw your attention, Nilesh, to the shipping stocks particularly. In the last 2 or 3 days, we have been seeing some traction across the board. Yesterday, there were stocks like Mazagon, G Shipping, Great Eastern Shipping that were up and about. Today, the focus is again on stocks like Shreyas Shipping, again Great Eastern Shipping. These are the stocks that are buzzing. Dredging Corporation is up by 5% odd as well. Now we do know that Shipping Corporation of India is another one that's also risen up to 5% in trade today. We do know that the centre could be looking to approve the Coastal Shipping Bill 2024 in the cabinet meeting that is slated for today. And now, in case that happens, we don't know how the reaction will be. We'll have to continue to watch out for. But technically speaking, how are these shipping stocks really looking to you? They've lost a lot of ground from their peaks. But is this the time when people are looking to invest or accumulate some of these stocks?
So Sakshi, within this space, a couple of contradictory call is something that we are looking at. So coaching ship is down today, and ahead of OFS, I think there may be some selling pressure that may remain. So as of now, it's better to avoid Cochin Shipyard for the time being. And the other name that you have just mentioned, share shipping, for this particular stock, if you look at the stock's structure, looks positive. And 385, 390 kind of levels can be seen in this particular stock. Stop loss can be placed somewhere around 355. And Mazgaon top, yesterday there was a spurt. Today we have witnessed some profit taking. But these are the good levels to accumulate this particular stock as a positional bet. From a short-term point of view, I think the stock has the potential to move towards 4600 to 4700. Stop loss for the long position can be placed somewhere around 4150. So better advice would be to buy in a staggered manner in these quality names.
Okay, so that's as far as the shipping space is concerned. Would you also look at the other defense players, the majors that we have been used to of looking at, stocks like HAL, BEL, BEML, any of those also looking positive to you with the trend that's now continuing on the positive side?
Right, Sakshi. So first of all, I'll give a disclaimer that HAL, we have already given a buy recommendation yesterday. Technically, the stock has broken out from a falling wedge pattern. Yesterday was a good breakout that we have seen on the chart, and today as well we have witnessed a follow-up move. So on the upside, our target of 4800 is intact. Can be bought at current level, can be added on declines. One can keep a stop loss below 4580. So that should be the stop loss for the long. And we are very much bullish on this particular stock for a follow-up move to continue.
$253, ladies and gentlemen. Where is the move coming in? Sakshi's marked auto ancillaries. Let me mark one. It's called Endurance Technologies. So it's actually an auto ancillary, but such is the name. What can be done? 4.5% higher, 2,418. Slippages continue on Cochin Shipyard. This is the OFS that is open for 2.5% equity as far as the government is concerned, which is selling at a base price of 1540. The equity is 132 crores. The government of India owns 72.86 and 72.86%, and up to 5% equity can be sold if the demand is good. Tomorrow is the turn for retail. Today institutions are buying. Let us see how it pans out, but this is how it is. In the green is AU Bank 697, up 0.22%, and of course a strong move coming in a forgotten stock, Tata Technologies, 1.7% higher, 1074. We'll get Nilesh to get a view as far as markets are concerned on Tata Technologies. Your view, Nilesh?
So Tata Tech, this stock has been consolidating since a long time, and we expect this consolidation to continue further. It has a major resistance somewhere around 1125. Multiple attempts have been made to surpass the same, but we have witnessed a constant supply near about 1120 to 1140 zone. At the same time, if you look at on the lower side, 1025 is a very strong support. Current level presently it is trading exactly in between, so better to wait for some breakout to come. The immediate breakout will come about 1080, and post that breakout it can be bought for the levels of 1120 to 1140. Stop loss for the longs can be placed somewhere around 1045.
Okay, got that. Let's also look at some of the other pockets then in the markets. What else can we discuss with Nilesh right now? Within the broader markets, Nilesh, several interesting names also coming to fore. Camlin Fine Sciences is up and about 9% in trade today. After a long haul, this stock is actually buzzing in action. We were talking about the real estate plays. Landmark Properties up about 9.5% in trade. You also have Gala Precision Engineering that's up by about 12%. These are the recently listed stocks. Some of them actually are picking up pace in trade as well. Then we also have stocks like Nitco, Hind Rectifiers, that's buzzing in trade. Geojit Financial, of course, we've discussed, is up 12%. Prakash Pipes is another one that's up by 8%. These are all the stocks in the broader markets that are garnering some traction in trade today. Rallis India, of course, is there is no let up here. There's 16% move on this one right now after the earnings. Let's discuss this with Nilesh. Nilesh, Rallis India for you. After this 16% move, would you be still a buyer, or would you now stay to see some correction here?
Absolutely. So it is not advisable to chase this kind of a stock at 16% gap up, 16% up move. And there's no doubt that the stock is in an uptrend and we might see a follow-up move towards 385 to 390 as well. But the risk and reward is not favorable. So better wait for some dip towards 365 to 360 that may get bought into, keeping a stop loss below 348. And the major structure, as I mentioned, looks positive. The stock has already hit a new record high today, and we can expect a move towards 400 as well. But if somebody is already holding the long position, can stay put, keeping a trailing stop loss somewhere around 360, and the upside may extend towards 395 to 400.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as Rallis India is concerned. And not just Rallis, in fact, several of the stocks within the Tata group are actually buzzing in trade, and they have been buzzing right from morning. I think our morning guest had indicated Tata Elxsi as one of the top bets of his, even though it's 1% down. We are also looking at, say, a Tata, steel, a Tata Chemicals, for instance, Tata Tele. That was another one that was also discussed in the morning as well. Some of these stocks, even IHCL is another one that's been in the thick of action right now. Tata Motors is coming back into the focus too because of the kind of supportive ratings that it has got in the NCAP crash tests for two of its additional models. There is a Sher Khan report that has given another 40% uptick upside to this one as well. Anything within the Tata Group stocks that you like right now, Nilesh?
See, purely from a pullback point of view, we may look at the stocks like Tata Chemical, where we may see some follow-up move towards 1120 to 1150. But we don't have any conviction as of now on this particular stock. One stock where we might see a breakout, so we can preempt for that, that is Tata Power. So Tata Power is on the verge of a breakout. The breakout will come somewhere around 468 and can be bought at current level, keeping a stop loss below 455 since the risk and reward looks favorable. So this particular stock comparatively looks positive, and we may see the levels of 480 to 485 from a short-term point of view.
Cool. 3 p.m. ladies and gentlemen, let me highlight a stock which I have been following for a while, and that's Amber Technologies. Amber Enterprises actually. This is an a counter which is from the EMS space, a very strong move now coming in. You have about 6.4% uptick at a record high. I am requesting Nilesh to give a view. Today's high is 56.65 and the counter is now at 5500. The most recent high was on 25th of September, so today is a breakout. Nilesh, your views on this one?
So Amber Enterprise, this particular stock has been in a secular uptrend on a monthly time frame chart. If you look at the stock still has a potential to test 5800 to 6000. So very strong chart pattern here. Earlier we saw a good breakout from a consolidation that was somewhere around 4000 to 4200 zone, and now the stock is looks like it is heading towards 5800 to 6000 from a short term point of view. Can be added at current level and on declines, keeping a stop loss below 50.
Okay. All right. Well, Nilesh, we will thank you on that note for staying with us for the closing show today and helping us and our viewers also to pick out certain stocks from various sectors that we discussed today. Viewers, we will now inch closer to this last half an hour of trade for today. Again, the Nifty is down by about 78 points. It's dragged further lower. Very, very volatile day of trade. 24,982. We have again tested that 25,000 mark on the downside. Now, Kush Godasara, market expert, is now joining in on the show with us to discuss and to decode some more moves in the market. Kush, how is the market really looking to you at this point in time? Are you staying on the sidelines in this volatility, or are you looking at any key stocks or sectors for any bottom fishing at this point in time?
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me. Definitely, I'm looking not to bottom fish, but I'm trying to short the market. I think, Bank Nifty has weakened in last 15 minutes. So let's see if we break 52,000 on the future levels, then we may see some more downside. And that is the reason why I have ICICI Bank on my radar. If we break 52,000 on the future levels on Bank Nifty in last 30 minutes, I will do STBD on ICICI Bank futures with the stop loss of 1250, 1260, and on the downside 1220 for tomorrow. So waiting for some confirmation.
Okay. Hi Kush, Shell this side. Weren't you the one who lost money by shorting Nifty futures 2 months ago?
Yeah, but let's see this time, because I think on the downside, on the downside 24,800. If we break that level,
I was just
yes, that time maybe I have regretted, but
absolutely. No, I was.
Yes, sir.
Let me just complain. Let me just complete. I'm just saying I was just testing my memory whether I remember right or not. The reason why I ask is that you are trying to short a stock which has the second highest weightage in the Nifty on an index that refuses to go below 25,000. It's all okay. I mean, of course, you have a full right to do what you like. I'm just trying to understand the how should I say the background of the logic as far as this short is concerned. And 7.84 weightage, 7.9% weightage on the Nifty.
So one of the logic here, sir, I'm just waiting for the confirmation. So reason is that if we break say 24,800 this time, then we have a head and shoulder pattern which will be confirmed, and that could be a trigger. Secondly, if you see a wave count, so the recent rally on Bank Nifty, where we have resisted today is exactly at 15 days average, and secondly 38.2% retracement level. So generally when we see a corrective wave, they are into three parts. So one of the technical reason why I am taking a risk of going short on ICICI Bank, but yes, still waiting for the confirmation. Yet not not going right now. Maybe below 52,000 on future levels real short.
Okay, got that. Is there
Please
any
not.
pocket?
Please don't let my view interpret. Yeah. Please continue, Sakshi. I'll speak to Kush a little later. Please continue.
Okay. So, Kush, apart from, of course, shorting the market which you are expecting on the index level, is there any other still a pocket in this recent downturn that has found your attention where you may have selected certain stocks for accumulating? Are there any pockets like that and any key stocks that have come onto your radar?
Definitely OMCs are looking good. BPCL, maybe a low beta stock. So if you are a positional trader, maybe BPCL is a good counter to go long or maybe buy. On the downside, 340 is your stop loss. On the upside, maybe within 2 weeks we may see 375 levels. So OMCs are on my radar for going long.
Okay, got it. So OMCs are definitely
Kush,
and BPCL.
I remember last time
something
we
that
had
you're
this.
looking at. Okay. Yes, Shal. Please continue.
Sakshi, Kush.
Yeah.
Kush, Sakshi and I remember this conversation last time. You had said, मैं इस शॉर्ट में पैसे बनाऊंगा और फिर मैं अहमदाबाद से फ्लाइट लेके दिल्ली आऊंगा and then we will go for a chola bhatura party.
Yes.
Right, Sakshi? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
You know, it has been now 4 months we have not had Chola Bhatura because of you.
Yeah. So now let's wait for 24,800 to break.
Chalo, theek hai. Okay.
So
I want you to just remember that we remember.
Yeah, sir. Only and one more thing, what I am looking at, cross counter. If you look at stocks like L&T, Reliance, Titan, SBI, they all are trading below 200-day average since, even Tata Motors, since last 2 weeks. So that is little bit concerning me that Nifty is holding up because of few stocks.
Correct.
That is one of the reason that maybe little bit we can give weightage on the downside breakout, because that time maybe I was too early that we were not below 200-day average. But stocks like Reliance, I was surprised. Still, it is trading. Today we have seen some recovery, but still way below 200-day average.
Okay. Right. So, apart from this, let's get you to talk about some more pockets then, Kush, and let's get you to discuss for us any festive ideas that have come onto your radar. In less than 2 weeks we will have Diwali and the peak festive season. Are you buying anything for the peak festive season too?
Yes, definitely. I think one of the key stock during festivals which I love is liquor stocks. Definitely, we see a good momentum. Maybe UBL is on my radar, but I'm waiting for a stock to consolidate. 2000 is a good support on UBL. Today we have taken our third support at that level since in last 2 months. So maybe if we sustain about 2000 for a day or two on UBL, we can go long, and we may see 2200 on the chart. So UBL is one of my festive picks.
You don't consume UBL products. That's good. You shouldn't. It's better to buy the stock than to buy the product. Right?
Yes, sir. In Gujarat, we cannot buy the product, so we buy the stock.
Okay.
That was a
अभी देखो ये वाली बात मत करो.
Also on the other side,
Okay. We generally we generally have a good time with Kush because 4 or 5 months ago he had said I am shorting Nifty, and with the money that I earn I will come to Delhi and all three of us will go for a Chola Bhatura party which I will pay for. Kush, you can come now and we will pay for the party. Because of you we are unable to have Chola Bhatura.
Okay, sir. Just give me the time. I will be there.
Okay. And because Sakshi since the morning is mentioning auto ancillaries, let me look at the finest stock in this space, which is Sundaram Fasteners, 3.9% higher. This is a breakout that is just about to happen. Yesterday's volumes were phenomenal. Delivery statistics were fabulous. Kush, what is your view on Sundaram Fastener?
Definitely, we are seeing a good breakout today, but on the auto sector and auto ancillary, I'm little bit worried looking at the sales figure. So maybe at current levels, I want buy around 1380 is a good support level. So if you already bought the stock, you can hold it. On the upside, 1560 is my target for the short term. But fresh buying is not recommended at current levels.
Okay, fair point. And any view that you would have on Hindustan Aeronautics? Is this a correction that is over, or would you rather avoid or would you rather get into it?
Definitely, we have seen a good bounce back from 200-day average, and maybe for fresh buying, if you look at 4700, that has been acting as a resistance, 4700 to 4800 since the month of August. So maybe for fresh buying, I would wait for an upside confirmation. So if you have already bought, we can keep a trailing SR at 4600. But for fresh buying, maybe we'll buy it a little bit expensive on the upside. I believe that is necessary to have a good rally. So 40, I will buy about 4750.
Okay. There is some news flow that is coming in via the wires, and we'll just like to highlight some of them. I think there are some cabinet decisions that are coming out, and with respect to the agri space, there is information that is floating in that at least 6 Rabi crops for FY 25-26, the cabinet has approved the hike in MSP. So wheat MSP has surged to 24.25 per 100 kilograms from 22.27 per 100 kilograms. That was the erstwhile number. So that has increased. Even mustard MSP has risen, masood MSP. Some of these crops are actually seeing a surge in MSP. How are you looking at the agri space with these kind of decisions coming in? I think I remember almost 15-20 days back, it was all related to sugar when the entire space was in the sweet spot. Now it's extended to other agri-related crops. How would you look at some of these spaces? Anything that looks positive to you? I think because of that news, there's a sudden spike in stocks like Dhanuka Agritech right now, which has risen to almost 5% uptake in the last few minutes alone. How would you look at some such stocks?
Yeah, from this sector, maybe we can look at Bayer Corp or crop also. That is on my watch list for investment also, and where we are seeing a spike with volume over there too. So I think Bayer Corp is a good buy. We are seeing a fresh breakout of a downside channel. So with the stop loss of 6,700, we may go BTST on Bayer Crop on the upside. 7,000 is my target. So fundamentally also and technically also, I will prefer Bayer Corp.
Okay, right. So that's the news that is actually leading all these stocks to move higher, and within that, Bayer Crop is something that Kush is going to be keeping a keen eye out on. The other space is the leather space or the shoe space as well. That's actually picking up some pace. Some of these subsectors are actually garnering attention. Metro Brands, for instance, is up 5%, Liberty Shoes is up 4%, Superhouse, Sri Leathers, these are the stocks that are pulling up in trade. Let's also pull up to see whether Bata is also gaining today. How are you looking at the footwear stocks? We haven't actually looked at them for a fairly longish time, not even in the budget where usually these spaces actually buzz. Nothing happened in this space during June too. June and July, but how would you really look at them now? Anything that looks positive?
Definitely. So I missed out on while you asked about the festive. Even Metro brand will be a good pickup for a festive, because I think in the Metro brand we get all the brands, and generally during Diwali, before Diwali, most of them get new pair of footwear. So stock is also trading at 200-day average. Since last 7 days, the stock has taken support at 200 average, which is approximately at 1200. Stop loss of 1200. Metro band is a good buy. Positionally, we may see 1400 on the charts.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty is now conclusively below 25,000. I think Kush will get his wish this time, and let us see whether it holds today's low, which is 24,907. We are down 90 points on the Nifty, and the reason for the selling is ICICI Bank, which Kush wants to short. Infosys again contributing about 31 points to Nifty's tally of negativity. Let me just get this back for you. Okay, yes, Infosys is contributing 36 points, ICICI is contributing 22 points, M&M and ITC 21 and 12 points respectively, and Kotak about 7.5 points. Now this is against the backdrop of actually a gain in HDFC Bank and Reliance. HDFC Bank is the highest counter, weighted counter. Reliance is the second highest weighted counter. But let's just attribute the negativity of ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank to the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty today. which itself is down just 100 points, 51,792. Nothing much to be worried about, but this is a bit of a pushback from the bears, and the strength of the 25,000 call writer, which is now visible on the market. 24,962 for you, down 93 points, and this is despite the fact that you have Reliance and HDFC Bank in the green. In terms of top traded counters, HDFC Bank has traded 1,573 crores. Nothing to be worried about. In fact, Reliance has traded 2,500 crores, which is a positive number. We have ICICI Bank just 873 crores. So I would not pay much attention to the negative number on this one. And of course, weakness continues to creep into Tata Motors, 1.1% lower, 906, into TCS, 0.6% lower, 4,092, and into Bajaj Finance, 1% lower, 6950. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, I'm looking at the India VIX, which has now slipped lower, and it's now at around 13 odd levels, which is comfortable. It had gone past 14, 15 levels as well in the morning trade, so that's comfortable, but that only gives us some hope that the markets could be probably easing on the some volatility issue that we have been continuously looking at. Again, it's the same names, real estate, oil and gas, infra, financial services that are doing well at this point in time. When we look at the broader markets, Railtel is something that, Shell, you have discussed. It's up 7.5%. ACE Constructions or Action Construction Equipments, that's up 6%. Sterling and Wilson was marked by Chakri right in the morning today. That's up 5%. Trident is up and about another 5% higher. You have Chennai Petroleum, CAMS, IFCI, Gujarat Mineral Developers, Naveen Fluorine, some agrochemical names, fertilizer chemical names also buzzing in trade right now. These are the pockets that are actually showing us some traction within the small caps. Between the broader markets, you have the small caps that are up into the green, holding up about just flat with a positive bias, but the mid caps are now down into the red. When we look at the PSU banking story, that's also slipped. Remember, it was one of the performers since the morning trade, and that's now slipped into the red. Private banks have slipped, given up the gains. Only the financial services are holding up into some move, and that we have already discussed as well. IT, auto, both of them down by over 1% now. Those are the big drags that are coming in apart from the banks at this point in time as well. Among the PSU names, the index has also slipped into the red now. PSU has given up the gains from the morning, but still oil and gas is holding up. Power related stocks, some of them are still holding up. So REC and PFC, they continue to hold on to some gains. Kush, would you look at PFC and REC at this point in time?
Definitely, PFC, REC looks a little bit strong, because 200-day average is at for PFC at 462, and we have been consolidating over that level since last 7-8 trading sessions. So definitely we can hedge our shorts by going long on PFC. Stop loss would be around 460. On the upside, 520 can be a short covering target for October expiry.
Okay. And 320 now, Kush. Any other BTST calls that you'd like to highlight for our viewers?
Maybe not BTST. I'm on commodity. If I'm looking at the gold and silver, if you look at the momentum, we are just $6 away from the life high on gold. So I think silver is a good buy. I mean, if people are trading on the commodity part, I think for BTST rather than stocks, I'm more confident on gold and silver.
Okay, 320, and the last 10 minutes are what are left for Wednesday's trade. Let's look at how the IT index is faring, down 1.2%. Let's look at the top losers in this one, because IT is something that was supposed to help out in terms of strength on the long side. Of course, it's Infosys and TCS in the mainstay front line. And apart from L&T Technology Services, which is up just 0.5%, there is a list of losers. Profit booking in Coforge from a record high, 3.5% lower. Infosys ahead of its earnings, slipping 2% down. Persistent, which will declare earnings a little later, down 1.5%. Ditto for Emphasis, and profit booking continues a little bit only on HCL Technologies, 0.33% lower. This is also the right time to get into NSE 500. Look at volume buzzers, but in volume buzzers, look at stocks that have lost ground on heavy selling. 5% down on the Bombay Stock Exchange, 4,512 rupees as far as the stock is concerned. 2,800 crores has been traded. This is because of the Jeffries report that has come in, pointing to excessive froth in the counter. At the same time, it has raised its price target to 3,500, which is substantially below the current market price. Cochin Shipyard, we marked 5% downtick. You have Polycab undergoing a decent bout of profit booking from a record high, down about 4.5% today. Trent, much needed profit booking, 4% lower, 7,800 for you. And of course, M&M, Castrol and Ipca Labs are also amongst the losers. Sakshi.
Right. We have 7 minutes to go before the markets shut shop. What is still holding up in this weak setup in the markets is HDFC Bank, up about 2% at 1,700. You have Reliance Industries that's supporting the sentiment at this point in time. Yesterday it was down in trade. Bharti Airtel, that's up by 1%. You have Dr. Reddy's, Grasim. These are the heavyweights that are still holding up in this weak setup. Like Shell pointed out, Trent is the top loser on the Nifty right now, almost 4% down. M&M, Infosys, Hero Moto, Tata Motors, these are all down in trade. So autos are definitely a big drop. Infosys, which was trying to support the market sentiments yesterday, is now down by about 2%. Apollo Hospitals is another one that's also dragged lower in trade today. Let's also look at the broader market losers at this point in time. Something which can probably make sense. No, not too many. It's just very small names without any big heavyweight that could be important for us to mark. Oil and gas is a story that we will continue to track even tomorrow. Kush, would you have a view on how the markets are likely to pan out for the expiry tomorrow, Nifty Bank both?
Definitely, Bank Nifty has hold on 52,000 crucial support on the futures. So we will get a confirmation maybe tomorrow. It's a little bit confusing, but definitely Nifty closing below 25,000, it's a bit worrisome. So maybe we can, expect a volatile session tomorrow. Upside 25,200 and on the downside 24,900. You can look if you look at the options data, it suggests a volatility in 300 points. So tomorrow it's a little bit confusing. So I would avoid trading plain vanilla Nifty for tomorrow.
Okay. Let's look at one stock which we have discussed on the channel before, and that is Barmer Lorry. And you would remember, viewers, that Mayuresh Joshi has consistently talked about this stock. It's pulled up in trade, 4.5% higher. And interesting move can be seen just towards the fag end of the show, even though the Nifty has lost about 100 odd points now in trade. On Barmer Lorry, would you have a view at all, Kush? How are the charts really looking? We are seeing a spike in, I think, in just last 20-25 minutes. We've seen some spike come back onto this stock.
Definitely, stock is looking strong, but 200-day average is 264. So maybe we'll wait for a day. If we trade about 264, then it will be more convincing to go long. So let's just wait for a day more.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start wrapping up the market and start with a stock that we generally don't talk about. This is this is Kansai Nerolac, 298 and up about 4%. It's fairly obvious why the stock is up. That's mainly because of the downtick that you see on crude oil prices. The counter is comfortably around 200-day DMA, so maybe better things are expected. I will also mark one more stock which we rarely talk about. This is Gufic Biosciences, a very strong ethanol play which has hit a record high today on substantial volumes and a 10% uptick at 446. Please keep this counter on your radar. Because of the changes that have happened in the coastal shipping law, you have GE Shipping surging 5% higher in trade today at about 1348, and of course there is an equally strong move coming into another pharma counter called Suven Pharma, which is now trading at 1237, a fairly strong uptick and perhaps again headed for a record high. Apart from that, look at ABSL AMC, look at HDFC AMC, and of course Motilal Oswal Financial Services from the AMC broker space, which have shone brightly in a market which is bereft of volume on the large caps and has shown signs of further degradation below 25,000, 25,960 for you on the Nifty, and about 100 points lower on the Nifty Bank on its weekly expiry. Tomorrow is the weekly expiry of the Nifty. Let us see how sensible traders use Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank plus ICICI Bank and Infosys Bank to manage the bulls and the bears. Sakshi, yours.
Okay, got it. So just 2 minutes to go. We will thank you, Kush, for being with us on this special edition to share with us your thoughts and ideas, and we will be hoping that either ways you come to Delhi for enjoying that plate of chola bhatura with us, whether or not this time around your shorting gets you enough and more money. Okay, got that. So let's start wrapping up. 24,956, 100 points lower on the Nifty. It's a positive part for the sectors like realty, oil and gas, financial services, PSU banks again climbing up, infra and small caps. Those are the only pockets that are holding up. Top movers on the Nifty, HDFC Life. Almost up 2%. Dr. Reddy's almost 1.3% higher. Grasim, HDFC Bank, Hindalco and Bajaj Auto now recovering in trade. Bajaj Auto's numbers are supposed to be coming, and we are going to be keeping a keen eye out on that in trade as well. Let's look at Reliance Industries. That's also closing about 0.7% higher. Bharti Airtel about 0.7% up in trade as well. But IT, autos are the biggest laggards in trade today. Private banks have slipped 0.5%, pharma is down by 0.5%, FMCG is down, mid caps are also down. So the Nifty Bank and the mid cap index and the Nifty Next 50 has also slipped into the red. Only about 3 to 4 sectors that are holding up in trade today. Top drags on the Nifty, Trent, M&M, Hero Moto, Infosys, JSW Steel and Adani Ports in trade today. PSU stocks which garnered attention, HPCL continued to be in the strong show, HAL, REC, ONGC and Power Finance Corporation up into the action. F&O space again HDFC AMC shown bright, almost 6% higher. Voltas, Navin Fluorine, Cummins India and Voltas. These were the stocks that were seen rallying in trade. What dropped in the F&O space? Polycab 4.3% lower, Zydus Life 4% lower, Trent, you have Coforge, Alchem Laboratories and M&M as the top drags right now. So market breadth definitely towards the weaker side in trade today. The screen is frozen at 24,959. We leave you at that, but we hope that tomorrow's expiry is a better day as well. Stay tuned with us on Business Today Television. There'll be a whole host of more action beyond the stock market hours for you to track with us on Business Today. Understanding from you on Hyundai IPO. I remember discussing it with you before the pricing had actually come in, and we were trying to understand, how will this change the landscape in the Indian automotive industry. Now that the pricing has come in, there are worries about its price to perfection, leaves a very little room for the investors out there, and it's off to a slow start. 18% subscription for the largest ever IPO in India on day one. How are you really looking at it?
Hyundai is, like Maruti Suzuki, a global company. It enjoys a parentage, a global parentage, and therefore access to R&D and the latest trends, technological trends that are happening outside globally. Now, that is important in the car industry, which is going through a massive change. Electrification, battery storage, etc. And Hyundai is the second largest player in India after Maruti. It has about 13, 14 models. And then importantly, it has one, access to R&D of the global Hyundai. Second, it is developing battery storage technologies within India. And three, it also has a range of EV models, which will further future growth. So if you add up all this together, the company is trading at will trade at the IPO price at about 22, 23 times. It has a profit growth north of 20%. So for a company as large as Hyundai to trade at that kind of a growth and with an ROE which is in the 20s is a very decent number. With all this in mind, I think one should subscribe to the Hyundai because it still trades at will trade at a discount to Maruti.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a note of caution. Hyundai's IPO comes at a time when Indian valuations are stretched. And of course, it's the largest ever that's hit Indian shows, 27,000 crore rupees. This entire money raised by selling 17.5% equity to Indian shareholders is going back to South Korea. Not a single paisa is being used to expand business, and what the South Korean giant has done over the last 18 months is taken out a lot of dividend, a lot of royalty, and at the moment Hyundai, if it wants to expand, it will have to borrow money from Indian banks. I'm sure that's a good thing ahead, but it's always better to read the DRHP once you see this kind of a huge issue coming at the top of the market. Please be very careful. Even if you apply at the lower price band of Hyundai.
भारत ने अपनी G20 प्रेसिडेंसी के दौरान एक गंभीर विषय दुनिया के सामने रखा था। इस विषय को मैं WTSA जैसे ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म के सामने भी रखना चाहता हूं। ये विषय है डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी के ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क का, ग्लोबल गाइडलाइंस का। अब समय आ गया है कि ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ग्लोबल गवर्नेंस के लिए इसके महत्व को स्वीकारना होगा। टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए वैश्विक स्तर पर डूज एंड डोंट्स बनाने होंगे। आज जितने भी डिजिटल टूल्स और एप्लीकेशंस हैं वो बंधनों से परे हैं, किसी भी देश की बाउंड्री से परे हैं। इसलिए कोई भी देश अकेले साइबर थ्रेट से अपने नागरिकों की रक्षा नहीं कर सकता। इसके लिए हमें मिलकर काम करना होगा। ग्लोबल संस्थाओं को आगे बढ़कर जिम्मेदारी उठानी होगी। हम जानते हैं, हमारा अनुभव, जैसे हमने एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए एक ग्लोबल रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है, वैसे ही फ्रेमवर्क की जरूरत डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को भी है। और इसके लिए WTSA को और अधिक सक्रियता से काम करना होगा। मैं WTSA से जुड़े हर सदस्य से कहूंगा कि वो इस दिशा में सोचें कि कैसे टेलीकम्युनिकेशन को सभी के लिए सेफ बनाया जाए। इस इंटरकनेक्टेड दुनिया में सिक्योरिटी किसी भी तरह से आफ्टर थॉट नहीं हो सकती। भारत के डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट और नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी स्ट्रेटेजी एक सेफ डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम बनाने के प्रति हमारे कमिटमेंट को दिखाते हैं। मैं इस असेंबली के सदस्यों से कहूंगा, आप ऐसे स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो इंक्लूसिव हो, सिक्योर हो और भविष्य के हर चैलेंज के लिए एडेप्टेबल हो। आप एथिकल एआई और डेटा प्राइवेसी के ऐसे ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो अलग अलग देशों की डाइवर्सिटी का भी सम्मान करें। साथियों, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आज के इस टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिवॉल्यूशन में हम टेक्नोलॉजी को ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक डायमेंशन देने का निरंतर प्रयास करें। हम पर ये जिम्मेदारी है कि ये रिवॉल्यूशन रिस्पॉन्सिबल और सस्टेनेबल हो। आज हम जो भी स्टैंडर्ड सेट करेंगे उससे हमारे भविष्य की दिशा तय होगी। इसलिए सिक्योरिटी, डिग्निटी और इक्विटी के प्रिंसिपल्स हमारी चर्चा के केंद्र में होने चाहिए।
Here is, ladies and gentlemen, a point to note. India and Canada are having a spat on the diplomatic part of their relationship, and Canadian pension fund holds about 3.4 crore shares of Kotak Mahindra Bank. In March 2024, it held 2.68% stake. In June 2024, it reduced to 1.65% stake. The September numbers are yet to be had, but this is an overhang that is now there on Kotak Mahindra Bank. In September 2021, I want you to hold your breath. Canadian pension fund had 6.3% stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank. Over a period of time, they've been reducing it, and the pace of reduction is now rising. This is not to inject or inculcate fear in your mind. This is pure data. Between September 2021 and June 2024, FIIs held 42.5% stake in September 2021, and now they hold 33.16% stake. So about 9 percentage point FII holding in Kotak Bank has been removed in this sideways zone, which is continuing for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is also a time when you see a lot of problems with the regulator that Kotak has undergone. With that background in mind, please keep Kotak also on your radar, as also Zomato. The Canadian pension fund has 10.4 crore shares of Zomato in its holdings, and that is also something that I would like to bring to your attention in terms of what the market is thinking as far as these two particular counters are concerned.
Entire retail and the e-tail space, Now, there has been some interesting conversations over the last few days and weeks where we have seen, the leader of the pack, the erstwhile favorite DMart, seeing, some slowdown and huge competition from the quick commerce space. Zomato is continuing to surge higher on the back of Blinkit. There is more competition now coming in with Swiggy IPO, and that also coming with Instamart now a focus there. Trent has now overtaken DMart in the retail space in market cap as well. How are you looking at these new permutations and combinations in the retail versus e-tail space, and where do you think this story is headed if somebody wants to keep a pie of the portfolio within this pack?
You raised some very nice points, interesting points of how the industry is evolving. If you look at Trent as a company or the space, retail, apparel retail, still, people love to go out, test, wear the clothes out, see apparel, and then look at the trends. So there, in those kind of places, footfall still do matter, and therefore the valuations will hold up. And for instance, companies need to be at the forefront. For instance, Trent is introducing the carbon diamonds. Now that's an additional reason why one would want to go out and shop. On the other hand, which means the valuation for those companies like Trent can hold up, even though they're very expensive. On the other hand, if you take a DMart type of companies, now the quick commerce is taking away very quickly, because if you take Zomato or Swiggy, their quick commerce business is undercutting prices of groceries and other basic items by anywhere between 20 to 30% off the MRPs. Now, this is with the pure thing to take market share. I don't think that trend will hold out much longer, because these companies can't burn cash much longer. But meanwhile, the DMarts of the world will lose margin and therefore have to trade at lower multiples.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and this is the earnings special edition where our focus will be on HDFC Life, the leading private sector insurer, which has already reported its Q2 numbers. It's reported a 15% growth in the standalone net profit, which is coming at 433 crore rupees for the second quarter. We've also seen the net premium income during the July to September quarter increase by 12% on a year-on-year basis, and it comes to 16,570 crore rupees. The company has also delivered strong new business premium individual APE growth of 31% to 5,864 crore rupees during the first half of the current fiscal year, and that's largely supported by 22% increase in the number of policies that have been sold as well. Also, the value of new businesses for H1 has risen by 17% to 1,656 crore rupees as well. Not just that, and even the assets under management for the insurer has now stood at 3.25 lakh crore rupees as of September 2024, showing an increase of 23% in H1 as a whole. To detail for us what has really contributed to this performance in Q2 and what lies ahead for the company going forward, I'm now joined by the top management of the company. Ma'am Vibha Padalkar is with us. She's the MD and the CEO of HDFC Life. Warm welcome to you, ma'am, and thank you so much for taking the time out. First up, congratulations, solid set of numbers yet again, as was largely expected earlier on too. How are you assessing the quarterly numbers, especially with regards to the regulatory and the tax changes that have occurred? So how are you assessing the numbers on your own?
So thanks, Sakshi. Yes, we've had a fairly holistic and satisfying quarter. Let me start off with top line growth to begin with. We grew at 31% overall on an APE basis. Also, what is fairly good is that we grew comfortably ahead of the sector, wherein almost 400 basis points faster growth versus the private sector. Even in terms of number of policies, and this is important because number of lives covered, we grew at about 22%. And as a result, our market share expansion happened, and we ended the first half of the year at about 16.3% market share expansion. We also reached a new watermark in terms of market share, crossing 11%. This is overall at an industry level. Protection grew well, sum assured grew well, and hence our embedded value also crossed the watermark of 50,000 crores. There was also an increase in terms of quality of business, wherein both our 13-month persistency as well as our 61st month persistency materially improved. So all in all, we're fairly happy to deliver a PAT growth for the quarter of 15%. Our back book helped in the PAT growth, growing by about 18%. So yes, I think given all the changes, like you said, both the industry and HDFC Life, I think can confidently say that we are poised well to take advantage of opportunities clearly that are there for the growth of the insurance sector.
Okay. Ma'am, I'd like to come to the margins part, especially for value new business margins. Could you give us a little more perspective as to, where are we headed? And were there any pressures this time around too? And will these pressures escalate in Q3?
Like I've articulated in the past also, in the first half of the year, equity markets have remained elevated. And we are of the belief that we have to be where the customer is, and we can't second guess customer preferences. As a result, unit link continues to be slightly elevated, and this certainly has some impact on the standalone margin. So in terms of articulation of our strategy, we want to continue to grow faster than the sector, like we have done in the first half of the year. Second, we have mentioned that value of new business growth will be in the range of 15 to 17%, and we are on the upper end of the spectrum, growing by about 17.6 odd percent. And margin will be an outcome rather than us being tethered to a particular number as margins. At the same time, there will be a floor as far as margin is concerned. We don't expect margins to drop very significantly, say by 400 basis points or thereabouts, but it will be somewhat range bound just given where equity markets are.
Okay. So, ma'am, we've actually seen a very strong first half. Q4 is going to be an extremely strong one again because of the seasonality factor. It's only about the Q3 that we are now going to be a little concerned about, especially because the surrender value regulations also come into effect now in October. Do tell us how should one really read through what is going to be coming in as a standalone Q3 quarter then?
We've started off well. So October month is looking fairly buoyant, and we will continue to attempt to grow faster than the sector. We will see how we can continue to be in the range of about 15 to 20% kind of a growth rate as far as the new business growth is concerned. And on a full year basis, we should end at about 18 to 20% growth in the new business on an APE basis. That's what we are gunning for. And like you say, hopefully we'll end reasonably well, both for us and the sector in terms of growth in quarter four.
Okay, so ma'am, total APE and the retail APE guidance for FY25, are you maintaining that? And is there any upward revision on that front?
We have given an upward revision in the call just now, the investor call, and the revision in terms of guidance is 18 to 20% on a full year basis.
Okay, got that. So, ma'am, going forward from here, growth targets for FY25, how should one be really looking at on all the key parameters then?
So we're looking at a holistic scorecard. We're, like I said, looking at growth in the region of 18 to 20%.
Yeah.
The new business or the value of new business growth in the region of about 15 to 17%. And we've already delivered on the upper end of that band, continuing to grow protection, continuing to improve our persistency, keeping an eye on growth in Indian GAAP profits as well, dividend paying, that it matters from that perspective. And return on embedded value, we've already crossed 16%. Hopefully, we will continue to add to our embedded value and continue to strengthen our return on embedded value as well. So this is really the work cut out for us in H2.
Okay. Ma'am, help us understand as far as the ULIP share is concerned. You have earlier articulated that it is likely to moderate. So going forward, are you going to see a significant moderation on that account? How should one be expecting that going forward from here? And versus ULIPs, how does the individual sector do you see? Which individual sector would you see accelerating then?
So we are beginning to see a little bit of tempering in unit linked. Unit linked in Q2 has come down to about 34%. It's still a little bit higher than what we traditionally have been pegging that segment at. But like I said, that's the pull of the markets as of now. So we expect it to be in this kind of a range. Unless something very dramatic happens on the equity markets, we would expect to see unit linked around that. Non-par has been a good story, wherein we have grown upwards of 70% in the non-par savings segment. And you will recall that after the tax changes, it took some time for the non-par segment to get back on track, and I'm very happy to share that that segment has shown fairly good levels of growth. So I would expect non-par to be in the 40-odd% range. Like I said, unit link to be around the 35-36% range. I would expect to see some uptick in par, which has been somewhat soft in the first half of the year. Should get up to about 20-odd% in H2, and the rest will be divided into contribution by our retail protection and annuity.
Okay, ma'am, especially because we are seeing a consistent rise in the SIPs within mutual funds. I wanted to understand what has been the impact on the money flow to ULIPs particularly, and how do you see that going forward?
It has been, ULIPs have continued to grow very well. And whether it is SIPs, whether it is in any other kind of direct equity play, that also is a fairly attractive proposition and pull of the market today. So it's a combination of this, and there will be different customer preferences that we will see. But unit link certainly has continued to see an uptick, and something that we would expect to continue in H2.
Okay.
That's
okay.
how I feel.
Right.
And so, to give you some numbers, unit link in Q2, it has seen about 40-odd% growth, while non-par has grown about 75% on a standalone Q2 basis, but unit linked has also grown fairly robustly.
Okay, understood. So, ma'am, compared to the industry, you've already been posting industry-leading growth right there. In FY25, how should one see industry growth, and where do we see HDFC Life at? And going forward, what is the trend likely to be?
Yeah, industry has also seen growth of about 24% and 21% overall for the industry. That's in the H1. We have, of course, grown 28%. So a good level of growth is already in the bag. I see this momentum continuing, and so in the comfortable 20s is where, or somewhere hovering just around the 20% mark on a full year basis is where I would see, all things being equal, the industry ending, and we should end slightly at a faster clip than the industry growth.
Just a word on the outlook on the value of new businesses as well, ma'am. You had earlier articulated that you expect this to double every 4 years, so to speak. So how does one really look at that aspect going forward, where we are at right now? How soon do we see that happening?
So we still have been delivering, and I would still say that we will be doubling every 4.5 years. That's the outlook. A little bit of a softness that you see at around 17% growth that we have delivered, but getting to 18-19% growth should certainly happen in a 4-year cycle.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to us and sharing all these insights from the quarterly earnings. I wish you all the best for the upcoming quarters as well. And it's always a pleasure to host you on Business Today Television. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. With that, viewers, we wrap up this very special conversation, but do stay tuned. There's a lot more lined up for you going forward too.
Understanding from you on Hyundai IPO. I remember discussing it with you before the pricing had actually come in, and we were trying to understand, how will this change the landscape in the Indian automotive industry. Now that the pricing has come in, there are worries about its price to perfection, leaves a very little room for the investors out there, and it's off to a slow start. 18% subscription for the largest ever IPO in India on day one. How are you really looking at it?
Hyundai is, like Maruti Suzuki, a global company. It enjoys a parentage, a global parentage, and therefore access to R&D and the latest trends, technological trends that are happening outside globally. Now, that is important in the car industry, which is going through a massive change. Electrification, battery storage, etc. And Hyundai is the second largest player in India after Maruti. It has about 13, 14 models. And then importantly, it has one, access to R&D of the global Hyundai. Second, it is developing battery storage technologies within India. And three, it also has a range of EV models, which will further future growth. So if you add up all this together, the company is trading at will trade at the IPO price at about 22, 23 times. It has a profit growth north of 20%. So for a company as large as Hyundai to trade at that kind of a growth and with an ROE which is in the 20s is a very decent number. With all this in mind, I think one should subscribe to the Hyundai because it still trades at will trade at a discount to Maruti.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a note of caution. Hyundai's IPO comes at a time when Indian valuations are stretched. And of course, it's the largest ever that's hit Indian shows, 27,000 crore rupees. This entire money raised by selling 17.5% equity to Indian shareholders is going back to South Korea. Not a single paisa is being used to expand business. And what the South Korean giant has done over the last 18 months is taken out a lot of dividend, a lot of royalty. And at the moment, Hyundai, if it wants to expand, it will have to borrow money from Indian banks. I'm sure that's a good thing ahead, but it's always better to read the DRHP once you see this kind of a huge issue coming at the top of the market. Please be very careful. Even if you apply at the lower price band of Hyundai.
भारत ने अपनी G20 प्रेसिडेंसी के दौरान एक गंभीर विषय दुनिया के सामने रखा था। इस विषय को मैं WTSA जैसे ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म के सामने भी रखना चाहता हूं। ये विषय है डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी के ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क का, ग्लोबल गाइडलाइंस का। अब समय आ गया है कि ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ग्लोबल गवर्नेंस के लिए इसके महत्व को स्वीकारना होगा। टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए वैश्विक स्तर पर डूज एंड डोंट्स बनाने होंगे। आज जितने भी डिजिटल टूल्स और एप्लीकेशंस हैं वो बंधनों से परे हैं, किसी भी देश की बाउंड्री से परे हैं। इसलिए कोई भी देश अकेले साइबर थ्रेट से अपने नागरिकों की रक्षा नहीं कर सकता। इसके लिए हमें मिलकर काम करना होगा। ग्लोबल संस्थाओं को आगे बढ़कर जिम्मेदारी उठानी होगी। हम जानते हैं हमारा अनुभव, जैसे हमने एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए एक ग्लोबल रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है, वैसे ही फ्रेमवर्क की जरूरत डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को भी है। और इसके लिए WTSA को और अधिक सक्रियता से काम करना होगा। मैं WTSA से जुड़े हर सदस्य से कहूंगा कि वो इस दिशा में सोचें कि कैसे टेलीकम्युनिकेशन को सभी के लिए सेफ बनाया जाए। इस इंटरकनेक्टेड दुनिया में सिक्योरिटी किसी भी तरह से आफ्टर थॉट नहीं हो सकती। भारत के डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट और नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी स्ट्रेटेजी एक सेफ डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम बनाने के प्रति हमारे कमिटमेंट को दिखाते हैं। मैं इस असेंबली के सदस्यों से कहूंगा, आप ऐसे स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो इंक्लूसिव हो, सिक्योर हो और भविष्य के हर चैलेंज के लिए एडेप्टेबल हो। आप एथिकल एआई और डेटा प्राइवेसी के ऐसे ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो अलग अलग देशों की डाइवर्सिटी का भी सम्मान करें। साथियों, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आज के इस टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिवॉल्यूशन में हम टेक्नोलॉजी को ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक डायमेंशन देने का निरंतर प्रयास करें। हम पर ये जिम्मेदारी है कि ये रिवॉल्यूशन रिस्पॉन्सिबल और सस्टेनेबल हो। आज हम जो भी स्टैंडर्ड सेट करेंगे उससे हमारे भविष्य की दिशा तय होगी। इसलिए सिक्योरिटी, डिग्निटी और इक्विटी के प्रिंसिपल्स हमारी चर्चा के केंद्र में होने चाहिए।
Here is, ladies and gentlemen, a point to note. India and Canada are having a spat on the diplomatic part of their relationship, and Canadian pension fund holds about 3.4 crore shares of Kotak Mahindra Bank. In March 2024, it held 2.68% stake. In June 2024, it reduced to 1.65% stake. The September numbers are yet to be had, but this is an overhang that is now there on Kotak Mahindra Bank. In September 2021, I want you to hold your breath. Canadian pension fund had 6.3% stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank. Over a period of time, they've been reducing it, and the pace of reduction is now rising. This is not to inject or inculcate fear in your mind. This is pure data. Between September 2021 and June 2024, FIIs held 42.5% stake in September 2021, and now they hold 33.16% stake. So about 9 percentage point FII holding in Kotak Bank has been removed in this sideways zone, which is continuing for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is also a time when you see a lot of problems with the regulator that Kotak has undergone. With that background in mind, please keep Kotak also on your radar, as also Zomato. The Canadian pension fund has 10.4 crore shares of Zomato in its holdings, and that is also something that I would like to bring to your attention in terms of what the market is thinking as far as these two particular counters are concerned.
entire retail and the e-tail space. Now, there has been some interesting conversations over the last few days and weeks where we have seen, the leader of the pack, the erstwhile favorite D-Mart, seeing, some slowdown and huge competition from the quick commerce space. Zomato is continuing to surge higher on the back of Blinkit. There is more competition now coming in with Swiggy IPO, and that also coming with Instamart now a focus there. Trent has now overtaken D-Mart in the retail space in market cap as well. How are you looking at these new permutations and combinations in the retail versus e-tail space, and where do you think this story is headed if somebody wants to keep a pie of the portfolio within this pack?
You raised some very nice points, interesting points of how the industry is evolving. If you look at Trent as a company or the space, retail, apparel retail, still, people love to go out, test, wear the clothes out, see apparel, and then look at the trends. So there, in those kind of places, footfall still do matter, and therefore the valuations will hold up. And for instance, companies need to be at the forefront. For instance, Trent is introducing the carbon diamonds. Now that's an additional reason why one would want to go out and shop. On the other hand, which means the valuation for those companies like Trent can hold up, even though they're very expensive. On the other hand, if you take a D-Mart type of companies, now the quick commerce is taking away very quickly, because if you take Zomato or Swiggy, their quick commerce business is undercutting prices of groceries and other basic items by anywhere between 20 to 30% off the MRPs. Now, this is with the pure thing to take market share. I don't think that trend will hold out much longer, because these companies can't burn cash much longer. But meanwhile, the D-Marts of the world will lose margin and therefore have to trade at lower multiples.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and this is the earnings special edition where our focus will be on HDFC Life, the leading private sector insurer, which has already reported its Q2 numbers. It's reported a 15% growth in the standalone net profit, which is coming at 433 crore rupees for the second quarter. We've also seen the net premium income during the July to September quarter increase by 12% on a year-on-year basis, and it come to 16,570 crore rupees. The company has also delivered strong new business premium individual APE growth of 31% to 5,864 crore rupees during the first half of the current fiscal year, and that's largely supported by 22% increase in the number of policies that have been sold as well. Also, the